Hey guys, welcome to the Black Film Guild, and today I have a really cool review that I'm going to be doing. It's for this gimbal stabilizer. It's the Zhiyun Crane. It's really popular right now with mirrorless cameras, and you know, as you guys know, I tried to review the M5, but unfortunately it didn't work out because I had trouble finding a lens that would fit on it. And I'm really looking for a Canon mirrorless to really, fit into my system of workflow. But unfortunately right now, the M5 didn't work, so I'm not going to be able to actually test that out with this system, but I am going to try to see how it fares up as far as weight with some of the other lenses. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just talk about the Crane, go through how I'm setting it up, and also do some weight tests so you can kind of understand how much the system weighs, what some of the limitations are on the system, and that way you can kind of judge what you need to do before you purchase this lens. So looking at the box, I can see here that the maximum payload is 3.3 pounds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the M5, even though I'm not going to be able to actually use the gimbal with it because I don't have the lens. I'm going to review the M5 with the lens on the scale. I'm going to do the 7D with the lens on the scale, and then I'm also going to do the 5D Mark III with the lens on the scale. And I'm going to see how much those weigh, and then from there we're going to see which ones will be under the maximum payload and then which ones we're going to be able to use with the Crane. All right, so the first one we have here is the M5. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that it's zeroed out, and I'm going to start with putting the body of the camera on first. So we see here the body of the camera is going to be just under, actually not even 1 full pound. Wow, very light. And so then we're going to put the lens on there, and it looks like we're looking at a little over 2 pounds with both the body and lens. So this first setup looks really good. I think that it would be ideal if you're going to be shooting with this Crane. And this would be my first option, but unfortunately it's not going to work because this is not an EF lens, so I can't actually test it out with some actual footage. But I will be trying it out with the other cameras. So let's move on to the next one. So here we are with the 7D. It's coming in, wow. It's coming in at just over, let's see here, just over 2 pounds it looks like. And then I'm going to add on the actual lens, which is a kit lens. And this thing is, just so you're aware, this lens is very plasticky. It's very flimsy. It's not the best lens. It's the 18-135 kit lens. I think it's like, it's a variable aperture. It's not the best lens, but it's lightweight, which is why I'm using it. It looks like it's coming in at 3.15 pounds. So just under the 3.3 maximum payload. So this is going to be under the maximum payload, and it's going to work with this Crane. So this is going to be something that I'm excited to actually try out because it's going to work. I have a kit lens that I'm going to use on it, and we're going to see how this thing works. All right, coming in at over 2 pounds it looks like, and I'm adding on the lens, and we are at 2.29 pounds. So just under 3.3 pounds as well. And it looks like it's under the payload as well. So the 5D Mark III is going to work. The 7D is also going to work. And the M5, if I had the lens, would also work as well. So I'm going to be trying out 2 of these 3 lenses because I can actually do it with the lens. And just for the sake of trying it out, let's see what it looks like if I wanted to try on some actual premium glass. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull out my Sigma Art 50mm lens and see how it weighs up with these lenses. Here we are. I'm going to take this off and I'm going to put on the 50mm Sigma. Take out the lens hood though. Don't want to weigh it down any more than it already is. 3 pounds, 14 ounces. So that's over 3.3 pounds. So the 7D is also over the weight limit with the Sigma Art. So the Sigma Art's not going to be able to work with this. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and walk through the setup of the Crane, and I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to do that. All right, so now we've done a little bit of measurements and kind of going through what I'm planning on doing with the Crane. I'm going to go ahead and start setting up the Crane. So just a quick thing of what it comes with. This is what it looks like when it comes out of the package. So it has instructions. I'm going to be reading those instructions, but I'm going to walk you guys through. This is my first time setting it up, so it might be difficult, it might be easy, but I've heard very good things about the Crane and that it's very easy to set up. So the first thing that I did is I actually already went ahead and charged the batteries. So I'm going to go ahead and put the batteries inside the handle. And so what you're gonna need actually is you're gonna need a tripod in order to balance this thing on. So I have a tripod right here. I just took the head off. You're gonna go ahead and screw this on here. And what this is gonna allow you to do is actually go ahead and balance the gimbal with ease. You know, you're gonna put the camera in here and then you can start balancing it. So when I started on this process, I was looking at kind of like what it looked at on the box a little bit and just kind of going through the process of mounting this camera onto the gimbal. And right away you can see that I'm trying to mount it to the bottom. And I made a big mistake right here. And what that mistake was is the handle on the camera, so the right side of the camera where you actually grip the camera to take pictures, that should actually be facing where the joint is. So right now you see that I'm mounting it onto the camera and I'm putting the lens on, but the problem is that the actual handle should be on the inside, not the outside. So I made this huge flaw and I'm sitting here trying to actually get this thing to balance, but it's actually never gonna balance because I have it backwards. So that was a mistake, a learning mistake, and I want you guys to make sure that you don't do this in the future. With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead, and by the way, I spent about 15 minutes on this, doing it the wrong way. But with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and flip it over the right way. And so here we are, starting on the camera, balancing the gimbal the correct way. And I think I probably spent about 5 minutes here trying to balance this gimbal. And the video on the right was just me practicing with the gimbal. I don't have much pistol gimbal experience, so I was just outside practicing. And it's something that you're gonna actually need to spend some time on to get better at. So just keep that in mind. You're not gonna be really, really good right away. It's gonna take a little bit of time, so it would be wise to practice. But just as far as the gimbal, you wanna make sure you're using all of the 3 different parts that you can adjust from the bottom to the side. And what you want to do is you also want to make sure that you have your zoom at the correct amount before you balance. So go ahead and balance the gimbal. It took me probably about 5 to 6 minutes actually to balance the gimbal once I had it on the right side, which is not bad at all, considering how long some of the other ones take. So you want to make sure you have your zoom out and everything's balanced. And you can see here that I'm still having issues with the front and back balance, but I'm getting really close. Actually, I think one of the handles just slid down and boom, it just happened just like that. So with that being said, I was able to ready to go shoot. And after a little bit of time, you can see here that it got a lot smoother for me. And when I was walking around with the gimbal, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't trying to be super sensitive with the way I was walking. So I'm taking regular steps right now. I'm not, walking super gingerly or trying to walk softly. And so you can kind of see that in certain parts when I'm walking right here by the, you just saw me adjust the light a little bit there. Right here when I'm walking by the fence, I'm just walking regularly and it looks pretty smooth right there. There's a little bit of a micro vibrations, but that's, I'm still getting used to this pistol gimbal, but that's something that's kind of usable. And I think that this also plays into the fact that what I was saying earlier about, wanting to get a mirrorless. If I had a mirrorless, I could have a better lens on this camera with, which I can do more creative shots with a shallow depth of field. But there are some micro vibrations that I'm seeing, which is unfortunate. But here I am going with the low shot. That looks about 2 or 3 seconds there with no vibration, which is nice. And I think right here, I'm going out in the sun, so I'm gonna have to adjust the brightness a little bit to just, because the lighting's changing so drastically. And I think I'm gonna actually probably go ahead and go, face myself so I can kind of see what the camera will do when it's facing myself. And once I do that, you can kind of see how it works with, me just looking at myself in the camera and how that whole thing looks and feels. And I hope that this was something that you guys enjoyed using this pistol grip. Personally, for me, I think it's best to use this with a mirrorless. I'm not going to be picking this one up for my 7D or 5D Mark III. I just want to make sure if I'm going to get something like this that I'm able to use the right type of glass for the lens. And for my setup right now, it's not going to really work for me. But I did like the ease of use. I liked how it can really do the you can actually record yourself while you're walking pretty easily. There was no stress on my arms really, which was really nice. And this, it's got a lot of it's a lot really popular lens for mirrorless, but for my setup right now, it's not going to really work out. I hope that this was something somewhat usable for you guys and helped you guys out in your quest. If you have a mirrorless, you might want to check it out. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys again here next time.